All right, guys, and we're live here on Phoenix 92.5 FM. And of course, nerdtoknowmedia.com, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitter and Twitch, but not Mixer because Mixer's not a thing anymore. Sadly, rip Mixer. I have to say, we use a platform called Restream, and they've updated their interface recently. It's pretty sweet, and probably will be adding some more channels onto it as well. So thank you for everyone who's joining us this week. We have a lot to get through. And obviously, before we get to it, I was on the True Penny show last week talking about some New Japan. And Dave, if you haven't checked it out, he kind of did the old switcheroo. So instead of Dave doesn't watch wrestling, it's Dara doesn't watch New Japan wrestling. So it's the same kind of feel. And I have to say, I really enjoyed it because it was the Neverweight Open Triple Tag Team Championships, the little tournament from Summer Struggle. Really enjoyed it. It's, fantastic. And James Penny really knows his Japanese wrestling. So if you want to check out a show and a series there, do check him out. It's fantastic. Obviously, if you're getting this show on Nerd to Know Media, go over to the True Penny channel and you're able to get his whole stuff there. The man does so much. There's a lot to get through. One thing as well, right? On YouTube today, now I did post it on my own personal Facebook. I am going to post it on our group Facebook on our channel. It's from Super iPatch Wolf, and he does a whole thing on villains and heels in wrestling. So it's all about how to make a heel, the glory of it. And man, I didn't realize he's such a big wrestling fan. I knew he was a wrestling fan, but I didn't realize he was that much of a mark. So it's like fair play. Definitely do check it out. I'll actually post a link here in the chat. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna try to get him on. He's Irish as well, so he might actually come on. But yeah, definitely check him out. It's a really, really good like half an hour video, but it even goes into like New Japan and Evil's heel turn and all that kind of stuff. Super, super good video, which I would recommend beyond all others that I've seen in the past couple of days. But
That's
Dave,
bold.
well, it's true, man. I was blown away. I was not expecting to be as good as it is. Dave, how are you, man? You took like a week off, so that was probably a good move because last week was not good in wrestling. Anyway.
Well, hey, it's a great day for wrestling, everybody. Welcome back to the only show hosted by fans that don't hate wrestling. It's good to be back myself as well. Yeah, I had to do a little soul searching. Took a little trip. Feel much, much better.
And you came back, which is even more bizarre. I would have just been like, oh,
just gone.
Yeah, I pulled back in. That's what wrestling always does. It always pulls you right back in.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, this rewind is going to be less of a rewind than what we're normally used to. We're going to look
we're
at
still rewinding. We're just rewinding 2 days.
Exactly a shorter space of time than what we normally do. Yeah. So look, we were going to talk about SummerSlam 1999. We probably will do that in the near future. Adam Martin is going to be joining us to talk about Brock Lesnar's run in Japan. That's going to be super fun. Looking forward to that. We just don't know when. We were going to do it next week, but hey, WWE gave us another random pay-per-view next week out of nowhere.
So, you'll never see it coming.
Yeah, like no one did. No one saw this pay-per-view coming. Actually, what's funny about this is Payback was like a rumor that was announced, and then halfway through SummerSlam, it's like, oh, so we're gonna have actually no. Yeah, it was like an interview backstage with what's the name? The boss with Sasha Banks, where she's like, oh hey, Sasha Banks is great. I love Bailey though. Bailey is like my favorite female wrestler.
Forget that. Sasha over Bailey every day of the week.
No. Bailey's just great, and I love heel Bailey. It's the same with like Evil Emma.
Yeah. Okay. You have a point. You have a point there. I do like.
All Evil Eva Emma was she changed her lipstick and stole some iPads
and her hair color.
I'm like, this is great. Where was this all along? And all she had to do was steal some iPads.
That's all she had to do.
Still the funniest thing. I was like, why were you stealing iPads? Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But yeah, Monster, thank you for joining in the chat. WWE love a good supplies, don't they? Yeah, they do, and don't tell anybody. So that's what
apparently.
Yeah, so this was a rumor that was kind of confirmed halfway through the show, and we will indeed have a pay-per-view for some reason the week after SummerSlam, which is just, it makes no sense.
Like we said, you'll never see it coming. I mean, that's the mantra.
but we can't say there's no build because Raw kind of was build. They fit like a month's worth of build in 3 hours, and apparently that's because Vince McMahon rewrote the whole show 20 minutes before the show started.
I mean, that seems par for the course, really.
Yeah, but this is what WCW did in 2000. This is bad. We're seeing the iceberg right ahead of us, and we're like, hey, we should probably move. And it's like, no, sure, it's fine.
I know. I did not see Raw, so I'm very curious. What?
Well, that's why the segment Dave doesn't watch wrestling is still working, because if you did, it would have ruined my whole thing. So I'm glad you don't watch Raw. But before we get to that, SummerSlam was on Sunday. I took the day off specifically to watch it, and then we shot a music video and I was working. So I fell asleep halfway through it, which was sad. So yeah, guys, working is fun. It sucks. But yeah, I enjoyed the show overall. We will kind of get into it in more detail, but very weird show. Okay, first things, before we get to it, WWE have moved away from the Performance Center and have now done this new thing. It's called the Thunderdome, which is the worst name ever.
Yeah, especially when you're Irish and that's how you pronounce it. But the Thunderdome is pretty sweet, I must say.
So what? Am I missing the TH? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's a Thunder. What is that?
Thunder.
You're welcome, Phoenix FM.
Yeah, look, the TH we do not pronounce in Gaelic Irish, in Gaelic English. We just don't do it.
It's fair. It's fair.
It's more of a D.
I'm gonna love this entire Thunderdome era.
It was in the Anway Center in Orlando, right? Yeah, it was. But they don't actually refer to it that. They just refer to it as the Thunderdome.
I'm gonna love this. Not just you pronouncing it, but I absolutely love this concept.
I think it's great. Initially, I was like, "This is the lamest thing ever," but I actually, if you know what, right? I'll never forget watching WrestleMania while I was filling some orders for the band, and my mom was helping out. She doesn't actually watch wrestling really that much, but usually me and my dad watch it. But mom was like, "All right, look, I'll just watch some of it," because it was like, it's like a million hours long or whatever. And it was 12 o'clock at night, and it was the Charlotte match, And
no, I blocked Charlotte matches out of my memory, so I can't even help you out here.
Well, it was the women's title match, the NXT title match, and
versus Rhea Ripley.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
And it has the problem that tennis has, where if you're not watching it, it sounds kind of erotic.
I got you. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it was very awkward. My mom's like, "That sounds really like." I'm like, yeah, it does. So there's no way to, because if you're not watching it and you're just something else, it's like, at least when you're watching wrestling with a crowd, it doesn't sound so bad. But with that, It's just a lot of grunting and stuff like that, and you're like, yeah.
It is. It's a weird one.
It's a weird one. So yeah,
but maybe we should explain this concept for people who didn't get to see it. Basically, surrounding the ring.
So most of them chimed in there. What exactly is the Thunderdome? It's supposed to be a virtual fan experience, I think. So she actually read your mind there, Dave. Yeah. So basically, what this is, right? It's
the modern day Edgar Casey.
Exactly. It's WWE's way of kind of getting over this, no fan experience, right? So, compared to the PC, where they would have like obviously no fans or limited fans, and that would be it. They've now rented out an arena, not a big arena, but by my understanding, it's a small enough arena. But they've
perfect size though.
Yeah, it works great. They've rented it long term now. They leased it until like November, I think. So this is where they're going to do all their shows. And what they've done is they set up a ton of screens. I think there's like 1,000 screens there.
Yeah.
And basically you zoom in.
Yeah. It's basically one gigantic Zoom call. I'm assuming you watch the regular feed, because when I was watching it didn't.
I don't know. I'm actually going to sign up for it so I can.
Is there a way? Because I was wondering
if you go to WWE Thunderdome, you can actually get your ticket there, or the social media, and that's how you can sign up. So
Dare hasn't signed up for it yet. I'm going to.
I haven't signed up for it yet, because I tried to and you wouldn't let us until like Friday, and I'm like, I'm not signing up to 1 a.m. for that. So yeah, I might do it. The only problem is, it's like I might fall asleep, because that happens, and then they ban you.
Sorry if I said that out loud. I hope that didn't come across. What did you say?
Yeah, they ban you if you fall asleep.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
I
So
had
yeah.
wondered about that. Like, what happens if you have to go to the bathroom, or you want to go get like another drink or more
So
food?
so the way it works is the feed kind of rotates, so you're not always on camera as such. So you get your slots and then you kind of move out. But yeah, month to month, it's essentially rows and rows of screens who are virtual fans. But the audio is cancelled, so they don't actually have the audio.
Well, I thought they were supposed to have the audio, or was that
No,
all piped in?
the audio is all piped in and all fake, and you can tell because it's really out of sync. And
Okay, see,
also,
I thought they had kind of added it because I noticed
uh,
there was points where it sounded like there was a delay, which would have made sense if they were watching a feed.
well, think about it, man. Like, not everybody has good microphones like us. Most people don't. You know, anyone who has been on calls or knows the danger of taking calls knows the quality of internet audio sometimes.
It's fair.
So
It's fair.
I just imagine that it wouldn't work. So I'm okay with this
Ah,
feed.
registration is closed for this show. Well, so you have to sign up for each show.
Each show, yeah,
That's too much.
yeah.
Somebody write me a script for that. I'm not. There's no way. There's no way I'm gonna be
Okay.
doing that.
Well, it's time for Dave doesn't respond doesn't watch wrestling. Right.
Dave doesn't watch wrestling enough to know that he could sign up to watch Thunderdome. So
So Dave,
yes.
which one is real?
Oh no, here we go.
Which one is real?
Did no nonsense like 2 weeks ago where two of them were real. That was just not fair.
Well, that's the fun of the game, Dave.
Oh, yeah, okay, I'm in. I'm
Okay.
in.
Okay, so with the Thunderdome, right, obviously opens up a world of different possibilities, right, and
Right.
different problems. So, which one of these is real and which ones aren't, or which one is real? We'll go with that one.
Okay.
So, was there an image from a KKK rally? Was there a live stream of CM Punk's rant against WWE, or was there a Chris Benoit picture displayed?
This is at Thunderdome.
This is at Thunderdome on Raw.
Oh, CM Punk's too obvious. I would have seen somebody would have texted me if it was cake. I'm gonna go with C.
So on Raw, there was a KKK rally on the
No,
screen. And,
why?
yes, and there was multiple Chris Benoits.
Oh, well, come on. Okay, so I got half it. This is really. Oh, this is the SATs didn't do this to me, man.
Oh man,
This is not right.
I just can't believe they didn't think this through. Like,
I was wondering this though. How are you going to get away with this concept and expect people not to be like doing the Austin finger the whole time, or like some guy
fair,
just for hours going suck it? Like,
well, here's a good video by the internet historian, which I'll post as well in the chat.
he's great.
He is great, but one of his most recent one is on the virus 1 and 2, and there was this guy called Top Too Much or something like that, where he would just randomly bomb Zoom chats, like classrooms, and just do horrific things, like pretend to be like a really racially insensitive,
Right.
whatever, just make fun of, and he's like this black guy, so just make fun of everybody. But then he just starts tripping, and his live streams are hilarious. And that's probably what's going to happen here. I can't believe no one has kind of jumped on that bandwagon, because these are kind of open. But the thing about it is, WWE obviously moderate these, and it's tied to your email address, I believe, and something like that. So if you're banned, you're kind of banned. But that you can just set up a burner account and do that. Like, if I was
Don't be telling people how to post racist stuff and get around it. What is wrong with you?
No, I'm not saying post racist stuff. I'm just saying WWE.
Welcome to the Wrestling Rewind, where we show you loopholes on how to be a racist.
Well, no, it's more WWE. Here's how to improve your security: block IPs.
Oh, yeah, so you're doing the whole side.
Block
yeah,
IPs. You dumbasses! Like, it doesn't matter what you do. Like, I know you can get around with VIP, a VPN. Sorry, but what I would do is, if I was doing that, I'm like, oh, okay, you're posting racist stuff. IP block. Bang. There you go.
Yeah,
because you can just set up multiple email addresses and just do it all day. Amateur hour. That's what this is. Yeah, man. But I'd say, like, the fact that this is happening, and they're very obvious as well, because you can't help but see them. Like, there was a teddy bear watching a lot of SummerSlam, and yeah, man, I just don't know who's moderating this.
Interesting. I was wondering how you would possibly monitor it all and make sure it's, I don't know. I mean, if they're so strict about what signs you're allowed to bring into the building, then how could they possibly be okay with just letting somebody in their own home off screen grab something.
Well,
But
here's a well, here,
we can't focus on the negatives. This is a super cool concept, and I absolutely loved the amount of pyro that they showed during SummerSlam. I couldn't tell.
oh
Some
man,
of it looked CGI. I wasn't sure.
yeah. So the way this works as well. So not only also there was a Fire Velveteen Dream sign on SummerSlam, and yeah, the guy was banned for showing that, which is
Oh, okay.
not unfair because Velveteen Dream has a lot of stuff that he needs to answer for. Let's just put it that way. Really does.
Oh,
Yeah, man. They
right,
just keep
right.
coming. I just can't believe that he's still on TV. But anyway, yeah. So look,
Yeah.
the same people who are running this are, I think they did the NFL or basketball or something like that. But yeah,
Okay,
they this is what they do. This is
right,
their bread and butter where they kind of bring it was basketball because still basketball is still running.
right. I think
Um,
South Korea was doing this with baseball, weren't
yeah,
they?
exactly.
Something
Yeah,
similar. Yeah.
something similar. Yeah. So this
I mean,
is
they were
kind of,
also doing teddy bears in the stands, so take it for what it's worth. But
but for me, I think this is like the future of in sports, I suppose, for the foreseeable future. Like it feels very much like the real thing. Um,
as a viewer watching it,
as if
yeah.
you're watching it, like it's as close as you can get, I suppose, without actual people
Mm.
being there. But in a lot of ways, it's kind of better as well because fans don't hijack the show. It's kind of like,
Yeah,
well, except for the ones that obviously do. But I
dude.
mean,
But
like,
then you don't get a Kofi Mania. You don't get Daniel Bryan. You don't get CM Punk. You need some hijacking, or else these great moments never happen.
yeah, but I could do without CM Punk chance for no
No, I'm not
reason.
talking about now. I'm talking about when he was coming and they didn't want to give him the push that he deserved, and the fans started going crazy for him. So that's what
Hmm.
I'm talking about. Or like the Yes Movement or Kofi Mania. It's a great documentary, by the way, on
Yeah,
Kofi.
but both of those things I wasn't a fan of. So
Wait, what?
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Triple H never got
See,
the
that's the
accolade.
thing. That's
That's
the
just
thing.
ridiculous.
Daniel Bryan beat Triple H at WrestleMania, and that was not okay.
Oh
That was not
no,
okay.
no,
That was not okay. So I'm just
no.
saying. And then the Kofi Mania thing that interfered with Triple H title run. So I'm like, yeah,
What on
just
earth
not
is
okay.
wrong with you?
Look, once people don't interrupt Triple H in any way, it's fine. The minute they do it, they go on the shit list. So it's like, no, just saying.
I got nothing. Anything else happening in the news?
Yeah, so Rey Mysterio apparently is injured again.
How? He didn't do anything.
On Raw, he was attacked by Retribution.
Oh, retribution. Oh, that's the okay, right. And we still
The
have no idea what these things are.
No, they're still like the Antifa group or something like that.
You know,
But
one of them had long hair that had like a slight purple dye to it. I was trying to scope out who that might be.
well, there's okay. So fans believe they might have figured out who Retribution are after Raw. So Retribution showed up at the close of Raw this week,
I mean, leave it to Reddit to find it out.
and they took out the Mysterios. The pose down seemed to signify the stable has been established. So we haven't found out exactly who's in it yet, but I think it's more like the guys who are portraying them now are actually guys who are in it, guys and girls.
Hmm.
So for weeks, blah 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 blah, fans
Definitely
were
are
able,
girls in it, yeah.
yeah, fans were able to peg Dominic Divacic and Dio Madden as two of the Retribution members. Shane Thorne is a popular choice as well, and so is Vanessa Bourne. It's unclear if Jessie Camellia is still in the group. Apparently, she was. She was the member with purple tips to her dark hair, but the
Okay.
hair was hidden this week. So it's possible that she wasn't in the faction. Chelsea Green, Santana Garrett, and Indy Hartwell are also popular choices.
Okay, Chelsea
Um,
Green, out of everybody you just mentioned, is the only person I know, and that's because she's dating Zack Ryder.
Well, here's one as well. There was a theory going around that Ember Moon was going to be in the stable,
Oh yeah,
which
whatever happened to her? She came out with that crazy stunner off the top rope and then nothing.
yeah, and then nothing. So look, it's
Well, I was going to say right now, that sounds like a terrible group.
yeah, like because you don't know anybody. That's
And I do watch when I don't fall asleep. I do watch NXT takeovers. Sure, I did fall asleep this time. I heard the ladder match is good. I'm gonna try and watch that. But I mean, it's one of the things I don't get is they seem to bring people up from NXT who aren't actually on the weekly shows. They
Hmm.
bring up the people who are still in development. It's like they use the weekly shows just to try and get ratings, or back when we could do live shows to get people to come out to the shows. So it's very bizarre. Like Braun Strowman, for instance, I don't remember ever seeing him on NXT pre coming into the Wyatt family. I'm sure he was, but you know what I'm trying to say?
yeah. I think it's very short sighted, but then again, it's still WWE, so everything they do is short sighted.
Yeah.
It's like,
I don't like this faction at all.
well, here's the thing, right? If it's retribution, what are they seeking retribution
Retribution for.
for, right? Because nothing was really done against them. They're just developmental stars. It's not like people who are like, if it was people who were fired, that would make sense.
Oh.
But this doesn't make any sense. Or if it was people who were gone, like for example, CM Punk came back and was leading a faction. Yeah, okay, that would make sense. This makes no, like, a bunch of people from NXT. What are you
Okay,
upset
but
about?
what if those firings in April? What if they did bring a lot of them back?
See, that
And
would make
that's who
sense.
it is. That would be cool. And I'm not just saying this because I want Anderson and Gallows back. I'm saying
Well, they burned the bridges with AEW, so they're never going to AEW.
What did they do?
They
They're
apparently,
OG Bullet Club.
yeah, but they apparently agreed to go to AEW. WWE gave them lots more money, and they embarrassed the Bucks. So that's why they're in Impact at the moment, because there's nowhere else to go other than Japan.
I mean, they could make a ton of money in Japan, but wait. So they, oh, okay. So they leveraged AEW to get a better contract with WWE, and then
No,
WWE fired
no,
them.
no. Apparently, according to their Talking Shop podcast, they
Okay,
were going to AEW. There was like that was their goal. And
right.
then Triple H, wanted them to resign and pretty much was like, here, look, how much do you want to stay? And they kind of palmed it off or whatever. Then they had a match in Japan where Triple H was their tag team partner. And after the match, he was like, look, here's how much we're going to offer you. And it was ridiculous amounts of money, like a couple of million. Like,
Right. I thought they signed a pretty lucrative
they
contract
did.
right
And
before getting fired.
yeah. And this is what happened. So it was either a couple of million or it's the guts of a million or whatever like that over a couple of years. And
Right.
yeah, they're like, look, we can't turn that down. They signed and then they were let go. But they had agreed verbally to go to AEW because apparently they met the Bucks at a food court at some point. And
Huh. Well,
yeah,
I will say this: as much as I love these guys, they did the same exact thing to TNA.
yeah.
AJ, Gallows, and Anderson had a verbal commitment to Dixie that they were going to go back to TNA, and then WWE came a calling.
Yeah.
So they do have a history of doing this, and I love them, but
look, here's the
I'm
thing.
not shocked, I guess.
But look, at the end of the day, it's the amount of money they were offered was, life changing money.
Yeah, why wouldn't you take it?
Exactly. And that's what he said.
And everybody in AEW should understand that because they've all been in that situation.
Yeah, but
the higher ups have been in that situation. Like Jarrett, I don't.
But it's who they embarrassed. They embarrassed the wrong people. So that's why they're an Impact.
Whatever.
But,
I give it. They'll be in AEW again. I'm not.
I don't think so. AEW can't afford it, man. AEW are almost done. Like if they
Oh,
don't start,
you think?
if they don't start getting butts in the seat soon, they're done. Like they're not WWE. They're not successful enough to ride out this pandemic.
Well,
even though they might be great and all,
it's true.
they're not WWE.
Their issue, in my opinion. Oh, this is controversial, but their issue, in my opinion, was the whole every talent is going to get, what was it, $500,000 guaranteed, essentially. They're going to get health insurance. The women are going to be paid equivalent to the men, which sounds terrible out of context. Don't splice that together with my racism comment from earlier. But what I'm saying is that people should be paid based on how the talent's going to be used. And it just, as soon as I started seeing that, I was like, okay, this just seems like a way for Brandy Rhodes to make a lot of money. I don't know. It's the whole thing's been odd.
Look,
we're never getting an interview with anybody from AEW after that. It was nice knowing you, Internet.
Look, AEW has a lot of good ideas, but the problem started coming in as soon as they brought in Cody Rhodes.
Yeah,
and that's
we don't
it.
need to rehash it. We
and that's the problem, and it's the systematic problems that happen when you have these demagogues with an axe to grind. They make really dumb business decisions, and what you said is actually kind of true. Because look, there is no reason why Becky Lynch, when she was there, shouldn't be paid as much as, I don't know who else. Seth Rollins, right? Because
Exactly.
or even more, because she was the biggest star of the company,
I
right?
agree with that 100%.
Unbelievably, like that makes sense because she was the face of the company, right? The biggest draw of the company.
Yeah.
But Brandy Rhodes making as much as Cody Rhodes, uh, what?
It's not logical to me in any
It
way.
just
That'd
makes
be
no
like,
sense. It makes no sense. It's like
that'd be
that's just
like
ridiculous.
saying that, like, just gonna pick somebody random here. Well, I guess Carmella is money, so that's a bad choice. But like Alicia Fox should not be paid the same as Becky Lynch.
Right on, exactly. You know, it's not a gender thing. It's more like a merit thing. It's like, listen, wrestling is about making money, and if you don't
Right.
draw, you shouldn't make money. Like
And it
that's
did
it. You know.
seem like their announcement of, oh, we're doing this. It was more of a virtue signaling thing, not a proper business thing.
Yeah, I think like it's not as transparent as TNA was under Dixie, but it's starting to really show that. And here's the thing: this stuff works great when you could have those fans in the arena, right? And the fans could come and be like, "Oh, look how great you are." Can't do that now.
Nope.
It's like, no, it's not going to work that way. You know, WWE are able to pull these maneuvers because they have such a big war chest. AEW don't have the war. Like, here's the thing: if they did, their TV deal was renewed in February, and they were lucky that the pandemic didn't hit beforehand because it never would have been renewed. That's the
Right.
truth of it.
Yeah.
Call a spade a spade. Now, that would have been it. That would have been done. So they might be able to limp on, but they're going to have to start making decisions that make sense. And, you know, I hear they want to bring fans back in. It's like, oh, that's a bad idea. But they might have to stay afloat. Like, that's the thing. WWE can have their virtual Zoom calls because they figured out how to do it. But that probably cost millions.
I
Absolute
was wondering how much
millions.
that costs to do. I mean, just the
Has to
setup.
cost millions. There's no way it won't. It
Nuts.
doesn't. And here's the thing: they're not making a gate either because they're not charging.
Right.
So it's
Yeah, I
like,
was trying to explain that this weekend to my friend. We were talking about wrestling
mm,
in general, and she was like, I don't understand. Like, why would they have troubles making money? They're still doing shows and all that. I'm like, yeah, but they don't they don't have the live gate attendance. They
yeah,
don't have the house shows. They don't
exactly.
they she's like, but they still sell merch. I'm like, yeah, but not as much as if it's being sold in the arenas and stuff
Exactly,
like
because
that. Like, they're taking huge hits.
here's the thing, right? A mom brings her son or daughter, right,
Yep.
and then their friends, right. So let's just say you have one guy that goes might buy a T-shirt, probably won't, right?
Right.
But you have either a family or a mom bringing a bunch of kids.
Yep.
That's 6 or 7 T-shirts. That's
Oh
bought
yeah.
purely because you're like, oh hey, look, remember when you went to the wrestling show? Because for them, it's not a TV show; it's a big event. It's a big
It's an
wrestling event.
experience that you
Exactly,
want to
and
remember. Absolutely.
exactly,
That's
and
why
that's it. And they're
Brock
missing that.
Lesnar's whole Suplex City exit and then he would put the name of the town was a brilliant. Yeah, they had to print a
Absolutely,
bunch of shirts for it, but I'm sure they sold like crazy because those are unique.
absolutely, and that's what they're missing. You know, so unless WWE are going to figure that out, they're not able to capitalize on that. But again, you're not going to pay for a Zoom call. Like if you're charging for this, you're not going to pay for it because it's like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. But what they could do is they could work it into their subscription, where every WWE Network subscription gets free access to one show a month or something like that. That would make sense.
That would be cool.
But it's like, I don't know.
But yeah,
Like,
I looked at the setup for this. I looked at the staging, the pyro, the special effects, everything they were doing, and I was like, this cost a ton of money
oh,
to
unbelievable
put
amount of
on.
money. But here's the thing: it needs to be done because WWE is all about spectacle. Like you take
Yeah,
that out and you're kind of left with very little. Now I like the empty arena shows for the most part. I
I like
think
this more though.
I like there's much more. Just
I like
because
this much more. Yeah.
well, it's because it feels like WWE.
Well, you know what it was when I was going on to the WWE Network to watch SummerSlam. You know, it pops up and it says you can jump to this section or jump to that section, like this match, this match, this match.
Mm.
And when I saw those thumbnails, and it just at first glance of me looking at the TV, I was like, is this the wrong SummerSlam? There's an
Yeah,
audience.
yeah,
And it wasn't until
that's
I
what I
actually
mean. Yeah,
turned it on and I was like, oh, this is cool.
because my mom was walking by and she's, oh, that looks like wrestling, and that was her words.
Mm.
It's like, yeah, it kind of does. Like that's the thing. Even like it's the closest thing you can get now, and it's like I think they figured out, with the cinematic matches and with that, they have a whole new arsenal. AEW didn't do that. AEW kind of just went, we're just going to do what we do, and it's like yeah, that's not gonna work. Like, that's not gonna work long term, right? You have to kind of adapt. And no disrespect to AEW. Look, as you said, we might never get interviews with AEW stars. I'm like, all right, well, fair enough. But it's like we're not saying anything that doesn't really need to be said or anything that isn't staring you in the face. Because look, as much as WWE might get railed, they'll be able to keep going. And this show in this format was very enjoyable. Actually, all the shows were very enjoyable, despite the trolling. Like it's the first time since the pandemic hit where you can actually go, well, you know what? If this is what wrestling is like now, from now on, fine.
And even the
Fine.
wrestlers, when they came out,
They
they were
loved it.
like, yeah, it
they
might have
loved it.
been Drew McIntyre was like, this is pretty
It's cool.
cool.
Yeah, there was Drew McIntyre, yeah, and you're like,
Yeah.
well, because at the end of the day, like I imagine they probably piped that in, like the sound over the speakers to give them like reference to the sound, so it's not just
Logically,
going for
yeah.
TV. But yeah, it's great. The commentary got awful though. Oh my god, like nightmarishly bad.
Where is Renee Young?
Well, she's fired. She's gone.
Wait, what?
Oh, whoa, you didn't notice?
Wait,
Okay, yeah.
no, what are you talking about?
Renee is gone. They
She can't get fired.
no, she's gone. She quit.
No, she's not. That's
no, she quit. She's done.
She quit.
She quit. Yeah.
Why'd she? What do you?
Okay.
How is this not in Dave doesn't watch the news?
Because I thought you knew this is the
No,
biggest
how would I
story.
knew this? When did this happen?
This happened last week.
What? I wasn't here last week.
You watched SummerSlam.
I was the whole SummerSlam. I was like, this feels really weird without Renee.
They closed the pre-show by Renee Young saying goodbye to everybody.
Well, I didn't see the pre-show. It's not on the feed when you go back and watch it after the fact.
Okay, so here's the news, right? Renee Young apparently gave her. There was reported she gave her notice to WWE, and nobody knew last week, and nobody knew when she was going to quit, right? So they closed the pre-show by saying, "Hey, Renee, this is your last day in WWE. Thanks for everything." And it was a big, tearful, sad thing and all that kind of stuff. Yes, she's done. Now, here's the thing: rumors she's going to go to AEW probably eventually, but she probably has like a massive non-compete clause. So probably be a couple of months. But
she can get picked up by any sports broadcasting.
She has a cooking book coming out soon, so she's probably going to be busy with that.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, go on.
You are not telling me that Renee Young left the WWE to go promote a cooking book.
No,
this is clearly a joke.
No, it's
she was
not.
Sick.
It's not.
She was quarantining because of Moxley or something, right?
No, look. Apparently, what happened was she was very hurt by the way WWE treated her after she got the virus. Apparently, no one rang to check up on her, and she was just kind of annoyed by it. And then she got lots of heat backstage for going public. So yeah, that's what. And then her show got cancelled. So she's like, all right, whatever, going to peace out. So yeah, she probably will end up somewhere else. But for the time being, she's like mad into cooking at the moment. So she has a cookbook coming out. This is all true. This is all happening.
This is not happening.
It is.
What?
I couldn't make it up. I'm sorry I had to find out this way.
I'm devastated. I really liked her.
So did I. I love Renee Young. She's so great. She's like my favorite. She was like my favorite part of WWE for ages. But see, she had to go marry John Moxley, so her time was a ticking.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Don't worry.
They didn't replace her on the booth either. At least they gave it was a 2-person desk for the night, so that explains why it wasn't 3 people. I guess they gave her like the seat of honor, kind of in memorial for the night.
But that's why they brought. That's why they brought in what's her name, Beth Phoenix. That's why they brought Beth Phoenix for the past couple of months to kind of replace her.
What?
Yeah, Beth Phoenix has been replacing her for the past couple of months, dude.
Can we get to the show?
Oh no, this has put a damper on your entire day, hasn't
it? Okay.
So the show started off with the first of 2 title matches for Asuka. So the story going into this was Sasha Banks and Bayley are double champions.
How did she? I don't believe you.
What about what part?
I mean, okay, I know she had the virus, right? She was home. She came back. Talking Smack was canceled. I did like The Bump. You ever watched The Bump on the WWE Network? It was actually good.
I've never watched The Bump.
Yeah,
I don't know.
okay. She's not on that. I just AJ was, so I just feel like I mentioned that. This is my mind right now. My mind is a jigsaw puzzle of wrestling. It's like find solace in something. Like we're gonna talk about AJ. Like I don't even. He's not even on the show. I don't. She's not on this show. How she's what? Woo. Okay. Okay. I'm good. It's out of my system. Let's talk about women's wrestling. Great.
Is it
My
out of your
favorite
system,
topic. No, I mean I don't know.
do you want me to get proof that she's left?
I want to. I guess. Can you send me like? I want to see the WWE website. We wish you the best in your future endeavors. Find me that.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna do some. We're gonna do some professional on-air googling here.
Yeah. Well,
Let's see.
Life is googling if you want a job. Apparently, I've learned.
Okay.
I don't believe this.
We're gonna show my phone to the screen, right? Renee Young.
What?
Departure.
What?
Yeah. Renee Young confirms departure from WWE Digital Spy 2 days ago. Renee Young reveals the reason for her departure 23 hours ago. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. She's gone. And
that sucks.
And look, here's some, YouTube videos about it.
How
did you miss this? It's everywhere.
Nobody.
It's everywhere.
Nobody told. Why didn't you text me this week?
Because I thought you saw it.
Where would I see this?
See, because it's not a gimmick. Dave really doesn't watch wrestling.
I watch pay-per-views.
That's it. But,
I missed the pre-show, so apparently.
Yeah, to be fair, I thought they would have done a bigger thing during the show. They didn't. They were just like, oh,
well, they learned with her husband not to.
That's probably why. But they just kind of were like, oh, bye, Renee. I wouldn't mind. She looked like amazing as well. I'm like, oh, she's all dressed up. But look, they're probably going to do a thing. No, bye, Renee. It's like, oh, man, you could have at least called the show or, whatever. It was weird. She had like a 1 week notice period.
Oh, wow. Oh, she's unloading on this company.
Yeah. It's really, she's not happy.
Wow.
She is not happy.
These are like actual sources, not like Bleacher Report crap, like real news is happening here.
Yeah. It's not Brock and news. It's like real like sources. So there you go.
She was a cast member on Total Divas? I don't remember that.
She was there with Moxley.
I don't watch wrestling. You think I watch Total Divas? I wasn't aware of this. Well, right. She was there for 8 years.
Yeah, she was there for a long time.
This show is now officially the Renee Young Memorial Show at this point. Oh, my goodness gracious.
We're just going to have to bear with us while Dave, gets over this. If he can. I don't think he's going to be able to.
Huh. You're welcome for the dead air radio, folks.
Well, okay, let's try this. What surprises you most about it? Why are you finding it so difficult?
Well, I mean, she broke that glass ceiling. She was the first female to actually be a competent lead commentator, like full-time Michael Cole style. She worked her way up, so like we all saw it coming for a really long time. She's young. She's only 34.
Yeah.
She's Canadian, I think.
She is Canadian, yeah.
I don't know how that's relevant. I'm done. I'm done.
You're done?
Yeah, I'll see you guys next week. No. Okay. All right, so yeah, Bayley defeated Asuka. The match sucked. It was whatever.
I don't think the match sucked. It was Sasha
versus Asuka was much better.
It was very underwhelming. Like the whole point of this was to kind of set up the overarching
Dave now trashes the SummerSlam card.
You have to pull in your disappointment here.
I do. It's very very professional of me to go on for about 10 minutes of pure shock and disbelief. I mean, last time I felt this way was when Paul London got fired, and I cried. I ran out of my dorm room. I fell onto the quad on my hands and knees, and I cried. That is a true story. I don't know why I shared that, but it's a true story.
I look. Here's the thing. At least Triple H can't get fired, so that's the good thing.
Oh, screw you. He got demoted.
Right. So,
All right. All
right.
right.
Bailey defeated Asuka in a less than stellar match, but this was to set
Yeah,
up
it
the
was
match later on, and obviously to
right.
set up the kind of break with Bailey and Sasha, because that's coming now at Payback when they lose the belts.
Yeah, I'm tired of like that transparent booking.
Yeah, it's WWE though.
Yeah.
This is what they do. This is what they do. They telegraph everything. And
As
yeah,
soon as this happened, I mean, we could just talk about both matches together because it makes
yeah,
more sense logically. As
yeah,
soon as Asuka beat Sasha, I went, "Oh, they're gonna lose their titles. This is time for that like year-long rumored breakup that they're gonna do." I want to
yeah.
say this though, Sasha Banks can wrestle, man.
Oh man, she's great. She's
That
so good.
sunset flip power bomb she did off of the apron, I don't know how she did it. There
But
were
here's the thing,
so
like,
many things she did that were so fluid and so dynamic that I kind of fell in love with her again as a performer. I really did. Her match
Bailey,
against Asuka was unbelievable.
Bailey, Sasha, and Oscar are like three of the best, like in the company at the moment, and they have it all. And Sasha
Yeah.
Banks, you kind of get a bit. You're surprised by how good she is. That makes sense
Yeah.
because you're not expecting her to be so good.
She
But
is
but she,
this wrong to say
absolutely,
she looks too good to be as good
yeah,
of a wrestler as she is?
absolutely. Like I know exactly what you mean. I know that sounds kind
Yeah.
of sexist, but I swear to God, it's not. It's like when you see Bailey, you're like, ah, Bailey, like love you, but whatever.
Right.
And you see Sasha, and you're like, oh my God, like that's unbelievable. Like she looks incredible. And then she wrestles, and you're like, oh my God, she's unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
And then you're just like, wow, okay, you're just complete. You don't expect because this is WWE's fault, right?
It is. We've been
It's it's
indoctrinated.
100% WWE's fault. Where like you see like basically a supermodel or whatever, then like there's no way she's gonna be able to wrestle, and then she doesn't, and you're like, well, there you go. So then when it happens, and you're like, oh my God, what? It's totally
Right.
WWE's fault, and it is the like obviously women's wrestling. I'm a big fan of it, big proponent of it. The knockouts kind of really broke that ground, but that was
Right.
TNA, and that was kind of expected. Like it was kind of the opposite, where no matter who you wear, who you look like, you go and have a great match. AEW kind of do the same thing, but WWE's whole indoctrination for 18 years has been attractive, like super attractive women cannot wrestle. Attractive
Right.
women can wrestle, but it's going to be limited. And now all of a sudden they're completely changing it, so it's still kind of weird to see, But
Yeah, it would be like expecting Tori Wilson to be the same caliber wrestler as
absolutely,
Natalia. You know what I mean?
absolutely, that
Yeah.
that case in point, Tori Wilson, Stacy Keebler,
Yeah.
pretty much anyone for that time period where like
Yeah.
Mickey James, who would be like that generation's Bailey, you're like,
Right, right. Yeah,
you know,
she was probably the best of the bunch, but looking back, she
exactly.
wasn't as good as what we have
No, definitely
now.
not.
Well, not even
Definitely not.
close.
But that's across the board. Like the rest, I saw something really dumb the other day. Um, WWE's going back to PG-14 and it's going to save wrestling. And I'm like, no, it's not. Like,
Do
it's
people
not.
not remember that the Attitude Era was PG?
Yeah, it's
Are they
like
not familiar with that?
but go back and like we go back and watch the Attitude Era, and the wrestling was not good. The
Ooh.
shows were fun, but the wrestling wasn't good. The wrestling, you take any match from the past 10 years, and it's going to be better than any match in the Attitude Era. And what I mean about actually in the ring, that's not
Right,
the
right.
problem. The problem is they can't tell stories. So
Mm-hmm.
if you add, blood and guts and swearing and all this kind of stuff, like they brought in swearing now to WWE, and it's like, oh yeah, it's a bit edgy, but they still have the same problems.
It's more effective when it would happen like once a month a wrestler would use a swear word and a tame one. But
Yeah, like
like
I like what Drew McIntyre said about Randy Orton in his promo.
right.
I was like, oh, okay,
Because it hits,
it
right?
hits and it's realistic because that's how Scottish people speak. Right? It's like that
Yeah.
makes more sense. And it's like, okay, cool, right, that's fine. But to go over the top like AEW do, it's like, okay, whatever. Or even in the Attitude Era where we saw where, we have fun looking at the signs. And you're like, okay, like what's that going to do going back? It's kind of building the stories. And, this is what we're saying with Bailey, Sasha, and Asuka. It's like the matches are unbelievable, the presentation's great, but the booking is transparent. We knew that Asuka was going to walk out with the belt, and we know that the breakup's going to happen. and you can see it
Right.
coming a mile away. I wouldn't be surprised if this whole Payback pay-per-view was solely for that reason, to get that done.
Could be.
Anyway,
Could be.
so look, yeah, Asuka is your new WWE Raw Women's Champion, and
Yep.
she deserves it. You know, I love Asuka. I think she's great.
I think she's fantastic.
She's absolutely one of my favorite wrestlers. Also, she has the cutest YouTube channel ever. Totally do
Does
check it out.
she?
Yeah, she was done where
I
she's
mean, it's
putting.
no R-Truth's TikTok because that's probably the greatest thing in the world. But
Well, Asuka has a YouTube video for putting together a gaming cabinet completely in Japanese, and it's amazing. And I'm like, oh, this is great.
I'd enjoy that.
Yeah, no, she's just like, oh, Asuka, you're the best. So it's good. I'm happy for her to, you know, to get this push, because she seems to be now like a really good project for Vince. I think he's finally got Asuka. You know, he finally like, right, this is who we have, and they're gonna push her to the moon. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, she's been there a lot longer than I remember.
Oh yeah, she's there ages.
Yeah,
You know,
she's really settled in.
she has. She's great. The Street Profits had a match with Andrade and Angel Garza. I did not like this at all.
There's one thing I liked.
Right.
And I don't know which of the. I don't even know who did it. I think it was Garza, actually, right? No, I don't know. Who cares? One of these four people, shows how much attention I paid, did a moonsault where they actually landed completely 180 of where they took off, kind of like a Rob Van Dam style of being able to change your position in midair. And I thought that was absolutely fantastic. I don't know how they were able to do it.
I just look. None of these people matter.
Well, I mean,
and the worst part, what I mean by that is Paul Heyman tried to make Angel Garza and Andrade matter, but then they buried them for like a month straight. So it's like, okay, they do nice things, but what's the point? So it was just, it felt very flat. It felt very like a time filler. Mandy Rose.
It was the shortest match of the night.
Yeah, it was
not counting the pre-show. So
yeah, it was like 7 minutes. Mandy Rose versus Sonya Deville, which was supposed to be a hair versus hair match. Then they changed it to a no disqualification, loser leaves town match.
Yeah, we were excited for this hair versus hair concept.
Yeah, we were, because
what happened here?
It's a SummerSlam tradition. Actually, looking back, it seems to be
kind of is. Yeah.
It's weird. That's one that only recently have been like, oh well, they do this at SummerSlam a lot. Okay, well, apparently what happened was Sonya Deville was like home invaded. Like,
I'm
legit.
sorry, what now?
Yeah, this is the thing.
By Retribution?
No, like in real life.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So, you know, that sucks for her. But apparently she's been given time off now to kind of like recover from that, which obviously you'd have to. So that's why she's been written off TV.
Now, I had an issue with this match.
They never explained why it's not a hair versus hair match anymore, but okay.
Well, the good news is I didn't watch any of the build-up, so
you know most of it. Sonya Deville and Mandy Rhodes were best friends, right. And
but here's my issue. Oh, I don't even know if I should say this. I've made so many comments that can be taken out of context. I'm just gonna say it anyway. I'm just digging it. I'm gonna dig it deeper. What was Mandy Rose wearing?
I'm gonna refresh my memory of exactly what she was wearing.
What on earth was that? You have she's very talented, but her whole gimmick is that she's like this golden goddess, this stunner.
Yeah.
And what was she wearing? She had this like weird white kind of coveralls that still showed her chest, but like her stomach was covered. It was very bizarre. I was like, what are you going for here? It was not complimentary to her body at all. I'd love to see what's going on in Dara's search history right now.
I'm just trying to like find out, you know, Mandy Rose. Let's see.
Just do Mandy Rose at SummerSlam.
That's what I did. Let's see. Of course, you use the Brave browser for this. Download below and link below.
There we go. We got a cheap pop in our sexist moment of the night.
Okay, well,
but to be fair, I want to wait before you say that. I want to preface this with something. The last time I was on this show, I made a comment about not being a fan of Triple H when he would wear the pants versus wearing the trunks because I thought it was a better look. Yeah. So there's no double standard here. I just want to be clear about that. I'm now applying this to Mandy Rose.
Well, let's repackage this in a non-sexist way. So OSW review to have a segment called What Bar. So what bar was Mandy Rose? That's just or Mandy Rose. I agree. Yeah, man, that was not a good look. I think even the way her hair and everything was presented,
It was
it
like she
didn't.
had wet hair. It was
Yeah,
just not
it's
her.
not her. It looked like someone different. Like, yeah, if you even look at I'm here on Google Images, and pretty much every other depiction of her is gorgeous. I'm not saying that she isn't gorgeous, obviously, but it's like, yeah, did her no favors, no favors at all. She looked like a gold whisper bar. That's what I'm gonna say. She looked like.
Yeah, she was demoted from goddess.
Yeah, no,
Definitely.
not good, not good. Yeah, I don't know, man. You know,
I feel like I've
sometimes
made a lot of friends this show.
Dave, not a sexist.
I don't listen. I liked it when Triple H wore less clothing as well.
That's fair.
So take
That's
it for
fair.
what it's worth.
That's what wrestling is. It's supposed to be. You know what it is? It's because of your pedigree of
Wow, getting the Triple H reference in. You
ultraviolet.
focused. No, you don't even
Yeah,
know what you're going to say. You
no.
focused the sentence around using the word pedigree, and now you're just trying to think about what to say. So
Okay,
please
okay.
tell me about my pedigree.
Your lineage of death matches where you're supposed to wear as less clothing as possible.
Right.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
That's yeah.
All right. Speaking of death matches, we had a street fight next.
This was amazing.
Seth Rollins versus Dominic Mysterio. Now, can I just say, Dominic Mysterio is terrible.
No,
No, he is.
he's not.
He's so awkward. He can't
How
throw
old
a punch.
is the
He
kid?
can't throw a punch. And I'm not saying that
Well,
I'm not saying that I'm some incredible super fit person anymore. But I know how to throw a punch. And this guy cannot do it. And it's
okay,
like
he should probably be better at 23.
he can't do it. It's
with
like
Ray being his dad.
he throws a little punch, and you're like, oh man.
Now that said, he did a couple cool lucha moves, but it was also kind of like, well, okay, we expected that to happen.
Yeah,
like I think Seth even said that in a promo or something. Like,
yeah, it's like if you can't. Well, there is a whole thing that who's Eddie supposed to be his real dad. That's supposed to be realistic.
Well, isn't that why he did the frog splash?
Yeah, that's what's supposed to be, right? But
and Seth does the frog splash as a tribute, and Sasha does the frog splash as a tribute. It was a frog splash spectacular at SummerSlam.
I don't know, but leaving the conspiracy theories aside, Dominic Mysterio he should be better than he is.
Like we sound like terrible people, but I agree
no, but he
you.
should be. Like he had a quasi main event.
He had the longest match of the night.
Yeah, and look, it wasn't a bad match. It's just like
it was.
He's a young fella, and he's like send him off to Japan, send him down to Mexico. Get that kind of experience in it.
Get him out of the country.
Now he looks like he looks like a creator wrestler. Right?
He does. I'm surprised he's not more fit, to be honest.
Yeah.
See, it goes both ways, people. Like, honestly, I was surprised with his physique.
I don't know. And look, I'm not.
Now I sound like Kevin Nash.
Yeah, like that's not. I don't know. It's just this is the problem with like second generation stars. They're always going to be compared to their dads or whatever.
Right, you can never be. I mean, Rey Mysterio is a once in a lifetime.
Yeah, a once in a lifetime talent, right?
It truly is.
But the problem is, instead of Dominic Mysterio coming out and just being himself, as in like his own thing, he's leaning so heavily on being a Mysterio that's like, oh, you're not helping yourself.
That seemed to be what they were going for in terms of the storyline. I will say, I loved this match. I thought the storyline was great.
The match
it was.
The match was really good.
And by the way, that beating that Dominic took on, I guess it was Raw a couple weeks ago when they showed that package,
absolutely,
that was brutal.
But even the kendo stick marks on
that's what I'm saying
Rollins on Rollins after the match as well. You're like, yeah, they really went for it. And look, if this is the best that Dominic can do, well, look, it's serviceable, but he'll never be a main eventer. He'll never be a big star.
Is he signed? Is this?
Oh, he's signed. Yeah, he is signed.
Oh, I thought this was like a one-off.
No. It's signed. But the problem with this, and I want to be wrong, but I've seen this before. You've seen this before, where it's not like a Randy Orton, where he's so you wouldn't even think he's related to Cowboy Bob Orton.
Exactly.
He's more like Ted DiBiase Jr., where he's trying to be mini his dad, and it's like,
well, I met him once. I got my picture with him.
Oh yeah, well, he seems like a nice
Yeah.
guy, but
He smelled very nice. I told him that. He got a little weirded out. I walked away.
yeah. What do you want me to do with that?
I don't know. He did. He put his arm around me for to get the picture, and the first thing that came out of my mouth was, "You smell really good." And I didn't. It just came out, and then he gave me this look, and I was like, "I'm gonna leave. I don't know, man."
Okay.
But whatever he uses, somebody buy.
Well, look, at least you said it to him and not to some diva, because you might get restraining order. So
It's very true.
that's
It's very true.
Again, it's like,
no
okay,
double standard.
no double standard. Yeah. Well, okay. Anyway, smells aside, poor Ted DiBiase Jr. suffered from what I think Dominic Mysterio is going to suffer from if he doesn't create his own. Like, the best thing he could do is beat the hell out of Rey Mysterio and be like, "I'm my own man. I'm not
that
you."
would be kind of cool to see.
And that's what
you
they
know
should
what this
do.
match reminded me of? It, in a weird way, it reminded me of a Cody Rhodes match.
That's the problem. That's the problem. It's like, it's literally trying to be this thing that you're not. Like, it feels so ill-fitted.
Like the whole spectacle around it. I mean, I was captivated. I loved it. It was like it was like when Cody won the NWA championship. I really loved that match. I really bought the story. The problem is then that was the storyline, or at least the setup for the match that he would have every week thereafter.
Every week. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's
cool as a moment, not as your gimmick or your constant match.
Where do you go from this? That's the thing. Like, where is Dominic Mysterio going to go next week? Is his dad going to come out with him to every match? Is it going to drop him off from school? Is that what this is?
I don't know. And by the way, listeners, if you hear something in the background, my neighbor's mowing their lawn, so I apologize.
Okay, one thing as well. I was disappointed that Rey Mysterio's wife didn't wear a mask as well. I thought that would have been fun.
That would have been fun.
Yeah,
I thought Dominic was okay. Let's point out. I did enjoy Seth Rollins' Rey Mysterio outfit that he was wearing as a callback to SummerSlam 15 years prior when Rey faced Eddie. If I'm getting this correct.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. That was very well mapped out. I'm really happy for the seamstress that she still has a job during this time.
They actually referenced that as well on commentary, which was cool.
Yeah, what do you think? I have a memory and I'd remember that? Of course they referenced it.
Okay, guys.
I mean, it wasn't Renee Young on commentary referencing it.
Well, guys, we're going to put a pin in here. We're going if you're listening to this on Phoenix 92.5 FM, because we've reached our hard break. We will be back here on the stream for the remainder of the show. Guys, if you're listening on Phoenix 92.5 FM, what are you doing? Join us live. We're here every Tuesday, 6 p.m. on Nerd to Know Media, the YouTube channel, Twitch, all that good stuff. Go to nerdtoknowmedia.com. The link is there, and you will be able to interact with us directly. We'll be back after this short break here on this stream. So we'll talk to you in a few minutes. Guys, if you're listening on Phoenix 92.5 FM, we will talk to you next week. Okay, and we're back. Still haven't gotten around to do ads. I will eventually.
I mean, I recorded one for you a month ago. Don't worry about it.
I know. I just,
it's fine.
Hey, look,
is that really loud? By the way, all my windows and everything are shut.
No, you're all good. Look, what I say is, look, launching an album during a pandemic is not easy.
Well, recording a podcast with a lawnmower out my window also not easy.
I can't hear it.
You can't?
No.
Okay. Why won't you
answer me this though? Does the guy smell nice?
Well, it's a female, and she smells like grass, I would imagine.
Because that's the important thing.
That made the air. Why I was trying to save that for the hard break.
I'm never gonna let that go. That's just the thing.
That's a true story. That is the same show that Matt Morgan threatened to punch me in the face. So.
Oh man, you know who hates Matt Morgan like beyond
me? I hate him.
Well, no, not only you, but Gary also hates Matt Morgan. With
really?
He hates him. Like,
I can't stand him.
I know. I don't understand it. I'm like, okay, but yeah, it's just some people have it's like my irrational hatred of Cody Rhodes. Just hate him.
Well, my thing had always been like Matt Morgan, good if he used steroids would be amazing.
Yep,
that's always how I felt. Now I'm not endorsing.
No, you've advocated.
I'm not advocating.
Oh wow!
I'm just saying it's something weird about him. But anyway, so
you're not advocating, but you're just saying maybe you should consider it.
Maybe, there's things you can do. Yeah, so
Oh man,
don't hang out outside of a show and insult Matt Morgan. He might inadvertently assault. Not, I mean, insult. He has a big fist compared to the size of my head, is what I'm trying to say. And
that's fair.
I backed away.
That's fair.
I
No
backed away
shame.
from many people at that show. I backed away from Ted DiBiase Jr. I backed away from Matt Morgan.
See, you probably should have used that line on Matt Morgan, and he probably would have been so freaked out he probably wouldn't have went away.
I believe me, I crossed a much harder line that I won't even share on air. But I will say that I told the promoter I was going to write it up for my wrestling site, so I got in for free. Got 3 tickets. Nice. I never wrote it up.
Well, there's a funny story. We were at a TNA show, myself and Gary, and this is when Jeff Hardy was in the promotion with Matt, and he wasn't allowed to go because obviously when you're a felon you can't travel outside of international travel. And this is when he'd just been convicted. So Sting was on the show, and there's a replacement. I actually have the poster there. I'll post it on our. I think I've seen it before. I took the poster of the TNA lie that Jeff Hardy was injured, not injured.
Oh,
couldn't travel. So I said to the security guard, I'm like, here, listen, can I have that poster? I really need it. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, awesome, thank you. So it's framed. But we were watching the show anyway, and there was a really good match with Matt Hardy versus RVD. Like, phenomenally good match. Okay. And Gary was booing him out that, and Matt Hardy comes over, and we're in the front row, and he's like, "Oh, you boo me, but you paid to see him." And he goes, "No, I paid to see your junkie brother."
Oh no!
I was just like, "Oh wow, that's fantastic."
That's facts right there. Is what that is.
Yeah. So yeah, the joys of pro wrestling, ladies and gentlemen.
They are the joys.
They are. Okay, Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. This match was boring as hell. Really did not like it, but had a really good ending. A really nice little, screw the pooch ending where Drew McIntyre.
You didn't like McIntyre versus Orton?
I find, look, Randy Orton is great when he's on. I don't think he works well with Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, it was an odd fit. It was also odd. Like, I know he's held the championship so long, but it's just weird to think of him in the same mindset of a Cena or a Flair. I just don't.
Who, Orton?
Or a Triple H. Like, in terms of total title runs that they've had, it's just weird that he's in that category. Well, and I feel like it's more because he's been there so long than anything else.
That's exactly why.
Why is Taker not at like one of the top of these lists?
Because it was during the time period where Cena was winning the championships and he had to trade it with somebody, and Edge was gone, so he traded it with Orton, and that's what happened for. And that's what happened. And that's what happened for about 10 years. And that's what.
Oh my gosh. Do you remember the first brand split?
Oh my God.
The brand reunion. And we got.
I do. It was terrible. Like,
I just constantly. Cena versus Orton take 70. I mean, we make fun of Orton versus Edge, but Cena versus Orton, somebody calculated it up, like how many pay-per-views were main evented by Cena and Orton in like a year. And it was a disturbing amount.
Yeah. It's about 30 pay-per-views. So it's way too many. And that's why, because Cena had to lose at some point, and it was usually Orton, and then he'd win the belt back, and it was just that back and forward for a good 10 years. So that's why. But look, I feel bad for Drew. Having people in the crowd, virtually or not, has helped him a fair bit too. But I think so. The match wasn't great. And here's the thing: apparently Drew McIntyre is injured now, but that could be storyline. And Orton is going to face Keith Lee at Payback for some reason. So it's like.
They did show. Okay. I think this was from WrestleMania because part of the Show Must Go On 24 series, but they did show Drew getting his ankle taped up back in April. So it's possible that he's had something going on for a while now.
Could have been, yeah. Like, I think that's why it would make sense why he brought up Keith Lee as well to kind of fill that void. But Drew McIntyre is still WWE champion. Okay. Fair enough. Look,
and you know what? My favorite part of that whole match was actually the build-up when he made the comment about Orton should have been fired for like the literal crap that he had done. I was like, oh, that's a great reference.
It is a great reference. That was a great promo as well. Actually, it was funny at the TNA show in Manchester. I was there when Drew McIntyre came out, and cut a really good promo. Like, when he just left WWE and he was kind of like TNA is where he kind of became a superstar. And yeah, it was great. So look, don't get me wrong, I am a huge Drew McIntyre fan. I'm glad he's the champion. I just wish it was I just wish he had something more to do.
Well, yeah. Here's what I want. I don't want it to be like Braun Strowman, where he doesn't get to actually be in front of a live crowd with his title. Because
Hmm.
Braun got the title, but he gave it up. So
Yeah, but Braun was never supposed to be the champion.
you know what though? I felt a lot for him. You know, he drove 20 hours straight, 20 hours back home on a 21-hour drive, and then he gets the call from WWE. Okay, we are going to use you at Mania,
Oh no.
and he had to drive all the way back. So
Yeah.
it humanized him. It
Yeah.
humanized Braun Strowman for me for the first time in a while.
Oh, we got a new background. Who's in the
We got a new
background?
background.
Is that you and Teddy Biasi?
It's yeah, that was the moment.
Oh my god.
I
Is
was
that
gonna live in it.
before or after you said it to him?
I think it was probably after. That's why he
Okay.
has an. You notice we're not that close together.
That's fair. Oh, good lord. Oh, dude, that's so funny.
I mean, I'm just gonna lean into it.
Yeah, I have to. At this point, there's nothing else you can do because it's gonna be brought up almost every show from now on.
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, at least we're not talking about Mike Awesome. I mean, that was really my goal. So,
That's fair. That's fair. Okay,
we have
look,
one more match. Yeah.
little more match, and this is like a lesson in stupidity, right?
Interesting.
Like literally, right? So the Fiend versus Braun Strowman. I really liked the whole presentation of this. I thought the Fiend's entrance was great as well with the new setup.
I was gonna say best entrance in WWE right now, hands
Oh
down,
yeah,
is the Fiend.
so good. But it's added to it so much now in the Thunderdome.
Mm-hmm.
My dogs agree. Um,
I do like how they can dim the LED boards of the fans.
yeah, and like just have it in as like an extended Titantron. It's cool.
Yeah.
Right. This match was it started off really well, then kind of went like it died a horrible death until the end. And then there was a lesson in stupidity. So Braun Strowman takes out a box cutter. And I'm like, oh, he's becoming New Jack. I'm like, all right, cool. No, that's not what happened. So he, instead of cutting Bray Wyatt, which would have been a bit too much,
you think?
he starts cutting.
You know, my first thought was, I was
Oh.
like, oh, I guess Braun Strowman's in charge of Retribution. I was like, oh no, I can't be thinking that. WWE, what are you doing to me?
Well, my first thought was, I'm like, oh wow, he's stealing New Jack's gimmick, like, because not only New Jack wants to fight Logan Paul in a wrestling match.
Really?
Yeah.
Logan Paul should probably not do that.
Well, Logan Paul said, I will wrestle any influencer for like $1 million, and New Jack's like, I'll straight up kill this guy for free. I'm like, yeah, he would. So Logan Paul, do not do that. You will die.
No,
New Jack will literally kill you. So
yeah.
it's like,
you might be a terrible person, but we don't want you to die.
No, like New Jack will make it slow and horrific,
and it won't be just.
It won't be fun. Like,
stay away from any traffic would be our advice.
Stay away from New Jack. Full stop. He is a scary man.
You know, he no-showed that Q&A naturally.
Oh, really?
It's very yeah. I didn't get my New Jack Q&A. I was disappointed.
That's probably good, man. You don't want to be near him. He's a scary man. But anyway, like his thing, like
Braun Strowman. I like the match, honestly.
Right, but here's the problem with it. Right, it died a death in the middle. Right.
Yeah.
And then he went into the ring. He got the box cutter out and started cutting the ring up. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. But it took him so long to cut the ring up to expose the boards. I'm like, you're taking far too long here. And then that's how he loses. He takes two Sister Abigails onto the board and then gets pinned. I'm like, you dumbass. What are you doing?
That did not flow well. Like I did not expect him to immediately, because it wasn't even like he really tried to fight it off. You know what else?
He got
hit
hit
talking
once,
about botched
hit
spots in this, because I don't want you to jump to what's going to happen right after that spot.
No, I'm not. I'm not jumping to that. I just want to talk about the match first itself.
Because I want to back up to something in the match that bothered me. What's up with tables nowadays? Why aren't they breaking?
Maybe got a different supplier.
I don't know. Like the last couple shows I've seen where they tried to put people through tables, you know, it happened. Strowman tried to put Bray through the announce table, and it just kind of like bounced off of it.
Well, the announce table hasn't broke properly in a long time.
That's what I'm saying. It's been like the past, like, I don't know, 6 months, a year. It seems like they've done something different.
Yeah, it's whatever. I think it's because they're using more kind of like permanent tables, where it's like they know they're going to be there for long periods of time. It's not something where they quickly put together and then that's take down.
They don't have to change locations.
And that's probably that would be my guess based on it. Because structurally, if you have something that's going to be there for couple of months, you're probably going to be like, well, look, we'll probably put this together so it doesn't collapse. But if you're putting something you're going to take away in a couple of
Hmm.
hours, that's probably why. And that would be my guess with the announce
Okay.
tables. So
I would
that's
have loved to
probably why.
see like back in the tables are breaking every other match days, like Michael Cole put a cup of coffee down on the table and it just collapses on him
Yeah,
or
but that's
something.
why, because they're like, here, this is just going to break anyway. So why would we bother? But now they're like, no,
Yeah.
look, they need it there. And again, they're using it for multiple shows as well, multiple times a week. So,
But does it
you
hit you? Does it hit a weird chord with you when somebody gets slammed into a table and it doesn't break?
outside of Japan, yeah,
Yeah,
because
like it's
that's,
an
yeah.
odd because even when Batista had his match against Triple H at Mania,
And
remember
table
the
didn't
one
break.
table didn't break, but then Triple H speared him through a third table and it broke. It was a
Yeah.
weird, like, I don't know.
It's like, I don't know, man. I'm kind of, if they're going to have that spot, you think they would have been like, here, which table do I use? Because
Right.
that's what I do. If I'm like, you know, hey, we're going to do this spot, which table was going to break instead of just, we'll just see. But then again, this whole match felt very sloppy. It felt very, not well put together.
Did you like the new Braun Strowman? The
I was trying to figure out what
grittier,
I was trying to figure.
meaner?
I was trying to figure what was different. And I'm like, oh, we got a haircut.
Yeah, yeah, he did. He shaved his head and uh, he lifted poor Alexa Bliss up into the air on Raw.
That fiend. He was the real
Unbelievable.
fiend. He was the
He
real
was
fiend.
the real. Nobody should treat the goddess of WWE
Exactly.
like that. Nobody should.
Alexa Bliss is an absolute saint and a goddess, and you should
Yeah,
leave her alone.
I would. She should.
She's the best. She is the best.
No, I completely agree with you, but I
she's
feel like I've hit my meter of things I'm allowed to say about divas. Oh, divas. About
the sexism, Dave. How dare you? You're cancelled.
I know this show will not be on the air much
Oh no,
longer.
Bowling for Soup wrote a song about Alexa Bliss.
Like 1985 Bowling for Soup?
Oh, also 1985 wasn't written by Bowling for Soup. Did you know that too?
No.
Ah, here we go.
Okay.
So, okay, right. I love Bowling for Soup. They're great. So yeah, 1985 wasn't written for Bowling for Soup. It's actually a cover, which is unbelievable. I found this out a couple of months ago. The guy who actually wrote the song is in the video, and they're like, all along they told us that it was there. So yeah, they wrote a song recently about Alexa Bliss, and it's called Alexa Bliss, and it's a great song.
Did they want it to be like her theme song, and then W's like,
No,
we're not paying the royalties?
No, apparently what happened is Alexa Bliss is a huge fan of Bowling for Soup. Showed up one time, met Jared, and he's like, oh, hey. And then he realized a couple of months later that she's Alexa Bliss, and she was wearing a Bowling for Soup t-shirt and wrote her a song.
Oh, that's cute.
Like, that's literally what the song is about. Like,
what's her relationship status? I'm gonna do some Googling.
I think she's dating someone. Not too sure.
I mean, how could she not be?
That's a fair point.
That's a fair point.
But yeah, I don't know. I felt like I hate the way Alexa Bliss was being used as kind of like a pawn in this. I thought it was like kind of beneath her. But it got Braun Strowman to be a bit darker, but it also got him to be a lot more stupid. And that was the name of the game here. Braun Strowman be himself in this match.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, I'm sorry, it's like, back in the day where you'd have like a TLC match and one lad would spend...
you're right. Yeah, that's her fit. That's her. I'm clearly paying no attention to you. I've got other stuff going on here. Yeah, she appeared in a Bowling for Soup music video too.
Yeah, she's actually in it.
Yep. And good news, everybody. She is going to start a podcast called Uncool with Alexa Bliss, and starting in August 2020. May have already started. I don't know.
We need to try and get Alexa Bliss on the show. That'd be great.
Whoa, she used to be engaged to Murphy?
Yeah.
Wait, who wrote this on Wikipedia? They ended their engagement in 2018, but remain friends.
They probably do. I don't know. They probably wrote it themselves. Anyone can write it on Wikipedia.
She got a pet pig named Larry Steve.
Yep,
sounds great.
It's also in the song.
Okay.
The song is very biographical.
I'm gonna have to listen. I can't find any. Okay.
If you type in Bowling for Soup, Alexa Bliss.
No, I'm trying to find out if she has a. I have.
Dave is creeping now on Alexa Bliss.
I mean, that's not exactly what's happening. You were looking up, man. Shut up. That's not what's happening.
Dave wants to know what Alexa Bliss smells like.
Listen, Wait, who is this dude? Ryan Cabrera? Well, he's spending more time with Ryan's. The Miz. Oh, apparently the Miz set him up. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
But I don't know, because of Rona, they haven't because they haven't been seen together in a while. Oh, she went to Disneyland with him. How cute. There's no official word. Well, guys, I'm glad you're updated. I'm glad I'm back on the show to keep you guys entertained.
Oh my god. What has happened? You know what happened?
We've fallen off the rail.
No, here's what happened.
Listen, I'll tell you what happened. You never saw this show coming, folks.
No, the minute we brought up the fact that Renee Young left, Dave just went completely off the bat. Completely, just gone completely. The whole show was a write-off because of that.
My head just started spinning. It's gone. I started admitting things I never should have admitted. Oh my gosh. Man.
No, but seriously, check out that song Alexa Bliss by Bowling for Soup. It's super good. It's super good. Also, yeah, the fact that 1985 isn't a Bowling for Soup song like changed the whole world for me. I couldn't believe it. The lies and slander. But
lies and slander about what?
About that Bowling for Soup wrote 1985.
They did.
They didn't though. That's the thing. No, they didn't. Like demonstrably, they didn't write it, which is
okay.
Although funny story though, the same thing with Stacey's mom. Everyone thought they wrote that song, and they didn't.
Wait, you telling me that the people who got the radio that wasn't their song?
No, it was by a band called Fountain of Wayne's, but they did a cover of it specifically because everyone thought they wrote it, and it's actually better than the original. Same with 1985.
Huh.
Yep.
Well, there you go. I'm glad I found that one out.
Yeah, going back to the show.
Right, back. Yeah, let's get back on track here.
Okay, so at the end of this match, so The Fiend is now your WWE Universal Champion yet again. So we have pretty much just come full circle, and they're right back to where they were before Goldberg showed up. So right before Saudi Arabia. I think this is a good decision. It makes sense. The Fiend is actually a world champion, not Braun Strowman, who is kind of a gimp. And although if I ever meet Braun Strowman, I will not say that because he'd kill me.
No, I actually think he's really. I'm telling you, man. I watched this WrestleMania 24 Show Must Go On, which is all about. They're openly talking about the fact that there's no fans and all this, and they gave a lot of screen time to Braun Strowman.
I'm sure he's a nice guy, but I just don't buy him as a world champion.
You don't buy him as a world champion?
No, I don't. It's kind of like the Big Show. You know, I'm like, yeah, you're going to be world champion, but you're also not. You're not going to hold it for long periods of time, right?
That was actually kind of almost exactly what Strowman said. He made a comment where he was like, well, not about the length of time, but he said, like, I view myself as carrying on the legacy of Andre, Taker, Kane, and Big Show. Like, I feel like that's
not
my
Taker,
role.
He's not Kane, but yeah. Andre and Big Show, I totally would see that, and that's the problem. The problem with those guys,
Big Show was more. I mean, it's a cool story about bullying he went through as a kid, be a star, blah blah blah. But
yeah,
it was good.
All right, well, I'll definitely check it out.
Why are you?
Well, no. Is this the 24-hour, the 24/7 thing that was on after SummerSlam?
Yeah.
I actually did want to watch it, but
no, it is. It's great.
So I will watch it.
Yeah. Well, now I understand. I now understand why Renee Young wasn't in it that much.
Yeah, because she's gone. Bye, Renee.
Bye, Renee.
Okay. Oh, so she has one of the creepiest models in like a 2K game. I think it's 2K20, the 2012, where she just looks inhuman.
Who, Renee?
Renee, yeah, she has like a really creepy model, or it's 2016. I don't know which one, but it's really creepy.
I mean, it might as well be 2020 since that apparently was predicting the future.
It has. It almost to the letter. So, right, we have The Fiend, and he's the world champion. Then, as he's celebrating, bang, Roman Reigns comes in and hits him. Now, the Dirts have said, oh, he turned heel. I'm like, how did he turn heel? He was against two heels. It makes no sense. It's like, who did he turn heel on? It's like,
I got the indication that he was turning heel by beating up Strowman more.
Yeah, but it's like, both of them are heels.
See, I don't view Strowman as a heel.
He hurt Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, but it's just Alexa Bliss. Who cares?
I care.
Oh wait, 10 minutes ago I cared.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm trying to suspend my disbelief
You
It's
can't
you ever
suspend your disbelief. This is
listen. You
what
ever
they
try
give
and
us.
hold two thoughts in your head at the same time that are completely opposing,
Yeah,
and
that's
you
called
accept them both
that
completely true?
that
That's kind of what I'm
that
having to do with Strowman right
that's
now.
called cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, there's a lot of cognitive dissonance that's going on. Because on
Yeah,
one hand, I saw the real Braun Strowman crying during a documentary. On the other hand, I saw Braun Strowman uh, laying a finger on that goddess, who, by the way, was a cool part of the whole like Firefly Swamp House,
right
whatever
on. Yeah, she was
thing. Yeah.
great.
So Roman Reigns is back. You told me he was fired. You told me
I
he
never said he
was.
was fired.
You told me he was blacklisted. He would never be mentioned again.
He
You told me.
wasn't.
You told me. No, oh come on! There were posters of him during the Money in the Bank match. He wasn't taken off. His merch wasn't shown as much, I guess. Okay, you might have been kind of right, but the point is, I told y'all that Roman would be back, and he's back as a heel, and he's back without a chest protector. I
But
like
how
this.
how is he a heel though? He hasn't done anything heelish.
Well, he beat up Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman beats up everybody.
Well, so did Stone Cold.
There you go. I don't think he's a heel at all. Look, unless he comes out and starts berating the fans or whatever,
Okay,
then
here's why he's a heel, because the WWE pumped in booze.
oh, okay, then fair enough. Is that what happened?
What, did you not watch the show?
I did. I just, I stopped listening to the commentary thing. Like it's
No, I
the,
know.
the minute he started talking, I just turned on. Like I was watching the Japanese shows for the True Penny show, and I had not like listen. I know a couple of words in Japanese because I'm a weeb, but like I don't speak Japanese. I don't claim to, and I had no clue what they were saying. But you know what? It was great.
That's what's going on with me trying to watch these Brock Lesnar matches
Yeah,
for
and
our upcoming show with
and
Adam. I'm
and
like,
yeah,
I
and
don't know
yeah,
what's.
and it's tolerable, and you don't feel like you want to like stab yourself in the ear. So the minute
And
I
yet I
start,
watch Iron Chef all the time. I think it's a great show. I still know what you're saying. I appreciate the subtitles.
there you go. It's just like it's the feeling of it compared to Michael Cole and whatever flutes they bring out. It's like this is terrible.
They
This
bring it.
it's like it's just, as long as Michael Cole is there, it's like this is all bad all the time.
Ah,
So
come on. Coal
no,
miner for life.
he's so bad, dude.
He's phenomenal.
No, he's not. That's AJ Styles.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually, can I say
it's right here.
I I like Joe on commentary, but they get him to say some really dumb shit. Like,
Yeah, they are.
it's like, why are you getting him to say that? It makes no sense. It's like, just stop ruining Samoa Joe, please.
And then you can tell when it's Joe talking as
Yeah.
Joe, because out of nowhere will come this really brilliant point.
Yeah.
And it'll go, oh, that like I feel more about this match. I have some more emotional connection to this match now. And yeah, it's
You can tell when it's a line and when it's Samoa Joe. And
Yep.
it's night and day, and you're like, oh my god, look what are they doing? Like, they'll get him to repeat something that just either didn't happen or happened completely different, and then he'll be like, yeah, that happened, and it's like, what? And then he'll contradict himself and be like, no, actually this is what's going on. You're like, yeah, that's what happened. It's just it's so infuriating. So my brain kind of turns off audio with WWE because I'm like,
all right. Well, listen, heel or face? Are you excited that Roman's back? I gotta be honest. I don't know why, but I got a little excited.
I don't know. Did you? What's it? We have Relic Modpet. Did you know Relic is killer spelled backwards? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
That's what they did on TNA when he was with Black Rain.
Didn't we talk about this like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, we did. So thanks for the reference there, Relic Modpet.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
We appreciate it.
Who was Relic?
I don't know who Relic was, but he teamed with Black Rain.
Right.
It was Dustin Rhodes when he was in.
Yeah, how do we get the?
I don't know. It just came in the chat. So
okay. I love the chat.
Yeah, the chat's great.
As if my train of thought is not derailed enough for this past hour and a half. Thank you for.
There we go.
Yep. So that's that, and they're gone. So
I know Johnny the Bull apparently was Relic. So I don't know who that is, but there you go.
Johnny the Bull. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
So you're
Thank you, chat.
Meh on Roman. Yeah. You're meh.
I'm not meh on Roman. It's more like yeah, I get he's like the closest thing to a real star they have, but it's like okay, so now we know what's going to happen. Again, it's WWE booking where you're like, right, he's going to destroy Bray and win the belt.
Would you have preferred that he came in on Drew McIntyre?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was my issue too,
I
because
thought that
the
would have been
Fiend
better.
is so hot right now.
Yeah.
They've got this reminded me almost of, and no disrespect to Mr. West, but this reminded me of, that's a line from something. I don't even know why I said that. Of when John, yeah, I lost my train of thought. Renee Young has really messed with my head today. I totally lost. Oh, Roman Reigns come back. Cena. Oh, when Cena would come back.
Yeah.
And there would be like a hot star that was up on the rise and they'd gotten the title and they were really running with it. But Cena's coming back from an injury, so it's time to catapult the title back to him. And that's how I kind of felt with Roman. I was like, Wyatt is so hot right now, and they're going to destroy it just to give the belt back to Roman because we're going into the fall and they're going to want to get the ratings back up because hopefully we'll come out of this lockdown, Thunderdome stuff.
And look, they're going to do the opposite because everybody wants the Fiend to, be the Fiend, want to be the champion for a while, and it's
right.
That's the problem. I think this is I'm happy to see Roman Reigns is back. I just think he'd be better suited with Drew McIntyre.
I agree.
Do something there. Because that's, obviously where Randy Orton is, so it makes more sense. But again, Fox is Fox. They need to have that star power. So that's what you're going to get. And there's a question here in the chat.
Am I getting my shows mixed up now?
Yes. Yeah. SmackDown is on Fox.
Right, but he came out. Wait, Bray Wyatt's on Fox?
Yeah.
That's why AJ's not champ. Oh, we didn't even get to address that, by the way. What the heck happened to Intercontinental? What?
Yeah. We'll get to that. We'll get to that, and then we'll get to that with Payback. Don't worry. Ugh. Question in the chat. Did Roman get new teeth? I have no idea.
A whole new grill.
I have no idea. Maybe.
Yeah, a whole new grill.
Okay, so overall,
Roman get new teeth. I whoever you are, I love you. Please tune in every week. You like to pick out the tiny little details like I do. You found a fun home.
Right. So overall grade of the show, what would you give it?
Am I grading it on lockdown scale, or am I grading it on
in
overall?
General? In general,
because I have a different scale pattern here.
Okay, well, give it lockdown then. 2012 scale.
2012 scale.
2020 scale. Sorry.
I mean, we thought 2012 was the end, but it turned out to be 2020. A.
I would say 2. I would say it's an A2. It's the best pay-per-view of the lockdown period.
The Thunderdome concept was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
There were so many matches on here that I loved. I mean, any show that I come out and I think the women's match is the best match on the show always blows my mind. So that whole Sasha thing I thought was great with Asuka. Even, as much as we berated Dominic and Seth Rollins, it was still a heck of an emotional match to watch.
Oh yeah. And again continues the SummerSlam tradition of street fights.
Right. I think the only clunker really for me was the tag match.
Here's a question for you. What was worse, Extreme Rules or Super Showdown from this year?
I don't even remember Super Showdown. I liked Extreme Rules, didn't I? No, because we made me watch TNA and I liked that more.
Yeah, no. Extreme Rules was probably the worst pay-per-view. 2020.
Yeah, the whole eye thing was just...
Yeah, Extreme Rules was the worst pay-per-view I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I won't go that far, but it was
I will go that far.
Super Showdown, when was that?
That was February. That was February.
Why do I not remember this show?
Because
we weren't doing this yet, so I probably wasn't watching wrestling.
Yeah. It was when the Fiend lost the belt in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, okay. See, I always do watch those shows because I love the pyro. By the way, I'm getting a haircut this week, guys. Any suggestions? Because look at this nonsense going on. I've been rocking this whole podcast. It's video form. Love it.
It has, it's been in the chat. It's been a long year. Yeah, it has, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels like it's been like a write-off year. So.
You're really like halfway done. This is the weirdest.
Well, 8 months. We're nearly in September, so it's kind of funny because like in wrestling, a lot has happened, but in the world, a lot has happened, but also nothing has really happened. So I'm kind of like, right, let's just kind of get through it. Let's just kind of keep going because
just keep going.
Thank God we have wrestling, because it actually has kind of given us something to focus on, even if it hasn't been great. But I think the periods of really terrible shows now are kind of over because WWE kind of have to innovate. But Thunderdome, great way to go forward.
One last question for you, man.
Yeah.
What do you think the tagline "You'll never see it coming" What do you think it was? Was it Roman the whole time? Now we know it's WWE and they probably just came up with something on the spot, but do you think it was Roman the whole time? Like when they made this tagline for it, what do you think it was? Because they tried to tease throughout the night in different matches of saying like, "Oh, you never saw that coming," with like a
Yeah.
spot that they do or something. What do you
I,
think the tagline
I
was
don't
for?
I don't know. I think it was just kind of like maybe it probably was for Roman, but I think they were just kind of going, "Oh, we're doing this differently" or something like that. It's a stupid tagline,
Because it
really stupid
could have
tagline.
been the Thunderdome.
Could have been stronger. I don't know, but
So we saw that on SmackDown.
yeah,
So
exactly. So look, I don't know. I was just kind of like, yeah. We got a question. Can you pull off a death hawk? I don't know what a death hawk is. So,
oh, like a. Okay.
oh, there you go.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm glad my sister works at a salon.
But yeah, look, you'll never see it coming. WWE need to stop with these taglines that don't make sense.
Well, you know what? You didn't enjoy the horror show, everybody? You didn't like that horror show? I thought that was
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic, personally.
yeah, yeah. Less said about that, the better. We've already covered that as well.
That
So.
was the best. Anytime TNA puts on a better product, that's just trouble. Here we go. That's
or in my
what
case,
I
I didn't see it. Fair enough. Ah, there we go.
Yep.
AJ and Renee Young, RIP, Renee Young and WWE. They missed out. It is what it is.
And look, AJ's pointing at me, and Renee's looking at me. This is the best of both worlds. That's your Hannah Montana reference for the night, guys. I'm on a roll.
All right, guys. Well, look, this is going to wrap.
It's like it's time.
It's time. Right, guys, this is going to wrap up this edition of the Wrestling Rewind, show 36. Guys, if you liked what we've done, we're here every single Tuesday at 6 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, and that's 1 p.m. Eastern. We are live. Thanks to everyone in the chat. You guys really make it more interesting. We really appreciate it. Again, if you want to chime in on questions or topics for the show, remember, we do look back to past wrestling shows, so you can either just leave a comment in the chat, leave a comment below the video on YouTube. Yeah, man, there's 35 ones to catch up on. They're all over on YouTube and Nerd to Know Media. You can just get them all there, or a few of them on Twitch, on Spotify, and all that good stuff.
You might want to start at episode 17. I'm just saying.
17 is when Dave joins the show, all right. So yeah, pop on, and that's when they kind of get a bit more fun. But yeah, look, we do open them up as well to fan submissions. So nerdtoknowmedia@gmail.com is if you want to pick a random show. Just please.
But maybe not completely random.
Yeah, I will say the last fan submission show we did, there was nothing to talk about. So if you are picking a show, at least give us something fun to watch. Because that would be good. But yeah, it's open to anything that we can get access to easily. So something on the network or whatever, we will be able to do them. But yeah, 17 is when Dave joined the show. So they're all over on Nerd to Know Media YouTube channel there, on Spotify and all that good stuff as well. Dave, is there anything you'd like to plug before we wrap up for the evening?
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @TheDaveStevens. That's this little thing you've been looking at all night here. Dave Stevens. Do that. Follow me on Twitter. I totally use it a lot. I don't know.
Twitter
mostly to promote this show, quite frankly.
Oh, that's fair. I'm on Twitter a lot, pretty much talking about wrestling or something got computer related. So that's where you can find me, at DaraWV. And of course, the show's Twitter is at Nerd to Know Media. nerdtoknowmedia.com is where all our stuff as well. Nerd to Know Media everywhere. Also, we got one more. The David Arquette documentary is out on Friday. Oh, okay. We will definitely put that in the hopper. And thank you for the suggestion. We'll look into that.
Who's releasing that?
I'm not too sure. I'm going to have to do some research on it. But next week, we're probably going to have our look back at Brock Lesnar in Japan, and or else Payback, or maybe both. But definitely Payback will be coming up, and then the next show we have scheduled.
I mean, let's be honest, guys. There's no way we don't talk about AJ Styles' match. So
yeah, exactly. So that's what's going to be there, and then AJ Styles, and then not only AJ Styles but Brock Lesnar in Japan. We'll be looking at too. Guys, listen again. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much to the chat. We'll be back next week, same time, every Tuesday, 6 p.m. here on Phoenix 92.5 FM and Twitch, YouTube, and all that good stuff. Guys, we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.